into the next edition of the Stateline Sports Reporters Podcast. I'm Cole Johnson. Today we're shedding light on an incredible moment from this past weekend at Gate City. It was the site of the Region 2D Boys Championship game in Virginia, the right to get a home game in the state quarterfinals, and it was one that came down to the wire between the Virginia High Bearcats and Graham. No question about it, it was going to go down to the final moments. These two have met 8 times in the last 2 seasons, a couple of tight games earlier in the year, and this one went down to the wire. Graham with the basketball with just 2 seconds left, but the rest is history. It was Woolen, a junior for the Bearcats, knocking down an unbelievable half-court shot at the buzzer as madness ensued afterwards. And I got the chance to catch up with Tayron this week about what that shot meant to him and the excitement surrounding it and what's next for the Bearcats as they move into that state quarterfinal and on their home floor on Tuesday. Also got a chance to catch up with the man on the broadcast. So without further ado, let's check out and hear what Tayron had to say.
2 seconds left. Graham to inbound. Looking for the baseball pass. Chucks it to half court. It's caught by Woolen. He shoots it half court at the last moment. Tayron Woolen at the buzzer. Tayron Woolen at the buzzer from half court.
How did it happen?
Unbelievable.
They're doing circles around the school.
All right, man of the hour right now. Game winner from half court to, win you guys a region championship. Walk me through when you saw that ball go through the net.
It's just a crazy sequence of events. First thing I could do was just unbelievable, just run out the door. It's hard to think of.
And that was going to be one of my questions down the road was, talk to me about that celebration. You just see on the broadcast, you and all the guys follow you just out the hallway. You guys end up coming out the other way. Were you even thinking anything? Were you just like, I'm just running?
Won the region championship off a half-court shot. Unbelievable. Something you see in the movies, not in real life.
Now, you hit a big shot earlier in the game, too. You hit at the buzzer at the end of the half, right? So you hit a couple of big shots in that game. Is that one of, do these moments take you back to when you were a kid growing up with the basketball, shooting on your own, making up these moments?
Yeah, a lot. Me and my brother, we play basketball a lot. He just makes me get better and hit big shots, work on those to hit shots like that in the game.
Did you ever see yourself in a spot like that where, you're making the big shot for your team?
To be honest, not really, but it's just good that I do it now. And glad to be playing basketball at Virginia High.
Now, on that final play, you walked me through what it was like winning the championship, but they have the ball with 2 seconds left. So you're back on this half of the court. What's going through your mind when you see the setup and see him just chucking it down towards half court? Walk me through what you're going through.
We're just trying to get a stop, force it to overtime, not trying to let them get a crazy shot off to win the game.
So you see it kind of bounces in front of you and you grab it. Did you know right away? Was it like just chuck it up, or how much time did you think you had?
I knew it was only 2 seconds on the clock. Just tried to get it up as fast as I could when I got the steal.
How about after the fact? So you guys kind of run around and go crazy on the court for a little bit. When did it set in that you just made a shot like that? Was it on the ride back? Was it not even till the next day? What was that?
I'd say probably after all the celebrations and we were getting the trophy in the middle of the court, that's when it set in.
How many times did you watch that?
I'd say about 30 times now. It's been a lot.
Has it been spread out through the past few days, or is it all in that one night?
I'd say it'd probably be all on that one night, because the next day is just something that happened.
Now, when you have a moment like that and you wake up the next day, you guys probably got Sunday off, but you're back to work because you got another game coming up on Tuesday. How do you kind of flip the switch and try to get past that moment, or do you kind of soak in it for a little bit?
Just flip the switch, let the moment go. We got more games to come, trying to get a state championship. That's all we're working for.
You're a junior, you still got a year left of this. But talk to me about the work that you put in here in the off season. And you've had a pretty good week in this playoff run. I know you had 27-28 the other night last week. So when you see yourself playing in these big moments, does it set in at all with you that you're doing something that you worked hard for?
Had a lot of older guys like Dante Worley. We always worked out. He always wanted what's best for me. And I say the work finally shows, because just doing good things in games and everybody that worked with me, they finally want to see the final results, and this is showing.
Through the years, what has been your main goal, both individually and as a team?
Just be a varsity starter, get good minutes, win games. It's always been my goal.
So what does it mean to put on that jersey?
Feels good knowing everybody comes here to watch me and my friends play, just to put on a show. Feels great.
Is there a feeling in there where, I don't know if I'm ever gonna hit a big time shot like that from half court again, or is it like, man, this kind of opens up a whole new avenue for you for big time shots you can make down the road?
I'd say it probably opens up a new thing for big time shots to hit, because there's plenty more games where I can do that again.
So obviously you like to have the ball in your hand in those moments, right? Is that kind of back to when I was mentioning maybe this is what you were working towards, even when the first time you picked up a basketball and you're maybe playing over those scenarios in your head like we all do when we're little. Do you remember those times, the first time you picked up a ball?
Yeah, I'd say I was 7 when the first time I played basketball. Just never stopped playing after that. Really, I was much more of a football guy, but then basketball just set in a lot more as the years went on.
Were you one of those that liked to shoot around by yourself, or did you always bring guys along with you?
I'd say I was always with somebody. Just always wanted to play one-on-one, get some type of shooting in.
What are some of your basketball influences? Any people you looked up to?
I'd say I just like to watch a lot of high school guys play, but I'd say Klay Thompson's probably my favorite player. See myself in him a lot.
So after the fact, you're going crazy and takes you a minute to soak that in. When you're going into the game, do you ever get a feeling like this is going to be a good night, or is it just like any other night?
Just like any other night. Either I'm hitting or I'm not, but we're just trying to win games.
Lastly for you, if you could describe that moment in just a couple of words, what's the first thing that comes to your head when someone asks you about it in 5-10 years from now?
I'd say amazing. You don't see that all the time, especially it happened to me, so it just feels good.
So congratulations to Tehran and the rest of the Bearcats as they head into that state quarterfinal on their home floor on Tuesday night. It's almost March, so that brings the madness and a lot of great moments we're going to be seeing here this week and next couple of weeks in state tournament play at the high school hoops level. But I also got a chance to sit down with the man behind the voice of that broadcast and that final play, Kris Mangrum for the Bearcats Sports Network was on the call for this one, and he describes what that moment really meant and just the elation that went through the broadcast team and everyone inside that gym at Gate City on Saturday night. So here's my talk with Kris.
I cannot believe what I just saw.
All right, Kris, got to talk to Tehran about making the game winner from half court, the madness we saw on Saturday night. Wanted to get your perspective from the broadcast booth, if you will, from calling the game. Those few seconds, leading up to that, 2 seconds left, Graham has the basketball. What are you looking at? What are you thinking?
Well, going back, Virginia High has the ball with, I think, 8 seconds to go with a chance to win. They drive the floor, get up a shot, doesn't go down, and Graham gets the rebound, and the buzzer actually sounds. So at that point, you're thinking it's overtime, but Graham apparently calls a timeout. They put time back on the clock, and I talked to Coach Galashaw after the game, and he said, I didn't want him to put any time back on the clock, but he sure is glad that he did. So 2 seconds left, you're thinking just play defense and play for overtime. And when I saw the ball go into Woolen's hands, I didn't expect it to go in. You could probably tell by what it sounded like, but we were elated. It was just madness and wanted to get out quickly and let the environment kind of tell the story.
Yeah, that's kind of a dream as a play-by-play broadcaster, is getting those moments, those type of game winner type of situations. So when you saw the ball going through the air and you see it go down, man, how's that feel for you to be a part of that and see them celebrate that way?
Well, it kind of, again, it caught me off guard. I think in my mind, I was prepared to call a game winner for Graham. That's what's going through my mind is I'm potentially about to call a game winner for the other team, and to see it just quickly reverse like that, it caught us both by surprise, and it was just raw emotion, what you heard on the broadcast, and people are just apparently loving the video, and it's going wild. So it's going to be a game I'll never forget.
I asked him this, how many times he watched it. How many times did you watch it back?
A few more times than he said, I think. I don't have a number for you. I know the Facebook video is up over 30,000 views now, and I did see one comment from someone that said that 10,000 of those had to be from them. So I think while it does have a lot of views, I think many of us have watched it quite a few times.
So after he makes it, and I think that was probably the best part about it, was seeing them run out in the hallway, and then you're like, where'd they go? And they come back in, circle the other door 5-10 seconds later. Your partner's like, they're taking laps around the school. Hilarious. So when you see that, are you trying to, the mix of elation, and also is it kind of amusing to see that too? What were those moments after the shot like?
It was just pure emotion from us and also from the team. And just in doing play-by-play over the years, the one thing that we're taught is once the moment happens, describe it and get out of the way. And I took the headset off and just let a few seconds go by. Obviously, we were doing radio, so once we filled people in, we just let the crowd kind of tell the story. I did get to talk to Tayron after the game. We interviewed him post-game, and I asked him about running around, as you mentioned, running around the circle. And he said the concession stand workers must have been very confused because the concession stand is right outside those doors. They hear the buzzer sound, the crowd go crazy, and here comes Tayron running around with his teammates. So it was a fun moment to see, and it's always great to just document what this game means to those guys, and was happy to see him make the shot.
Yeah, so, when you get a moment like that and you see what it brings to not only the team, but everyone that was there for Virginia High, how awesome is that to kind of be a part of that group of people that will, for a night that they'll never forget?
Yeah, it's really interesting. With some of my other play-by-play responsibilities, I do football and baseball mostly for the Bearcat Sports Network, and where I do King basketball as well. And so we've got a few individuals, Jabo Lester and John Hubbard, that have been doing the majority of the games this year. And I just told them, if you need me, let me know. And it just so happened that one of the guys was unable to be there, and I was happy to fill in and happy to fill in for that moment and to be a part of that. So I kind of got a little lucky. I got to step in, and I think it was only the second boys game I've done all year, and I get lucky enough to have that one and that lasting memory. But it just means so much to us as a part of the network, and that's why we're here, right? It's not for us individually. It's to document the stories of these young athletes and see what they can do, and they do amazing things every day.
Have you ever seen a half-court shot, let alone a buzzer beater like that, calling a game before?
I've seen a handful. I think the difference in this game in particular was the fact that the steal, right? I think we were talking about it on the broadcast, and we said, if you're Graham here, you're looking at the Christian Leitner play. You throw it down the court, hopefully your guy catches it, turns around, and has a look at the bucket. That's what we were all prepared for, and until the turnover happens. You never thought a turnover and a shot could happen in just 2 seconds. So that one will make it more memorable. I've seen some other buzzer beaters, but I haven't called one quite like that. So
it was a special moment all the way around. When you're preparing for a broadcast, you probably never expect there to be an ending like that, but you want to be ready for it. So what was that walking into Gate City that night on Saturday night? What was that like for you?
Well, we knew that these two teams have played each other quite a bit over the last couple of years. Graham was dominant in the series for a long time. Virginia High's kind of taken it back under Coach Galashaw, and they'd already played 3 times this year. Graham got him once here. Virginia High got him the last time they played at the Southwest District title game. So that was a 6-point game the last time they suited up, and that was just a few weeks back. So we had the anticipation that this was going to be a close game. And we said it all throughout the broadcast. Of course, Tayron hit a buzzer beater right at halftime as well. That was a huge shot in the game that made that half-court shot even matter there in the end. So you could just tell every quarter as each minute went by, we just kind of had a feeling this one was going to be close, but we never imagined the ending that we'd get.
Right. Well, man, thank you for this. Anything else you want to add about that night?
The main thing is we were all glad to be a part of it, but this moment totally belongs to Tayron and his teammates, and we were just happy to be there to make sure that we could document it and have it be a memory for him and for his team for the rest of their lives.
All right, man. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
So there you have it, madness for Virginia High as they move into the state. Hope you guys all enjoyed it. Stick around as we will get together with the crew with Heather and Lauren later this week and discuss the state playoffs and where they stand, see who we still have left in a couple of days. A lot of hoops to get to on Tuesday and Wednesday with teams on both sides of the state line. For now, I'm Cole Johnson. You are watching the Stateline Sports Reporter Podcast. We'll see you next time.